Right, so we are discussing the 500 series, and in the 500 series we have started with our discussion regarding the 520, which is regarding the analytical procedures. In the analytical procedures, one, we have understood the meaning of the analytical procedures. What is the meaning? It is the evaluation of the financial information, how through the analysis of plausible relationships among financial, non-financial data, and then whenever you identify an inconsistency or it differs from the expected value by a significant amount, then you need to investigate in detail. So investigate means what? Make inquiries of the management and perform the other audit procedures as appropriate in these circumstances. So that is the first thing we discussed, the meaning of analytical procedure. Then next one, okay, analytical procedures are to be performed by the auditor throughout the audit. Planning stage analytical procedures not discussed in SA 520, they are discussed in SA 315, IAOR. So that A over there was for the analytical procedures. Why analytical procedures at the planning stage of the audit? To identify, assess the RMM. Right, then substantive procedure stage and conclusion stage of the audit, those analytical procedures are discussed in SA 520. At substantive procedure stage, why analytical procedure? To obtain relevant, reliable audit evidence. Near the end of the audit, like say today is 24th April, tomorrow 25th of April, I have to issue the audit report, and it says even before that, just near the end of the audit also you perform the analytical procedure. So why near the end of the audit? Okay, whatever is my understanding and whatever is my conclusion regarding the entity, whether these two are consistent. And that is why, say sometimes you do an audit for 20 days and then after that you put the file on the partner table for the review. 20 days, day and night, you've been working hard on doing that audit, and then you think you have done a marvelous job, and then you put the file on the partner table, and partner, whenever he comes to office, after that he goes through the file for 2 hours, and then after that he has the 2 page of the finding for you. And for all those questions, you are like dumbstruck. You have no answer for that. You're like, oh my God, I've been doing the audit for the last 20 days. All these thoughts never came to my mind. How come partner is having all these valid questions? Why? Because he is doing the analytical near the end of the audit. What he keeps on doing, he keeps on shuffling between the balance sheet and the P&L. In a balance sheet, he'll check the PPE. In the P&L, he will correspondingly check the depreciation expenditure. In the balance sheet, he will check the loans. In the P&L, correspondingly check the interest expenditure. In the balance sheet, check the debtors. Correspondingly check the revenue in the profit and loss account. So that is like an overall final check. Okay, whatever is your understanding, okay, this year the company has taken a lot of new loans. So correspondingly, whether interest expenditure is increased. This year the company has taken lot of new employees, not a lot of new staff. So correspondingly, whether the salary expenditure is increased. Right? So whatever is your understanding and whatever is your conclusion regarding the entity, whether these two are consistent, is why we perform analytical procedures near the end of the audit. And maybe near the end of the audit, by performing analytical, again you might also come to know about any previously unrecognized RMM. So near the end of the audit, you come to know that, oh, from the beginning I have to consider this to be an RMM, perform additional checking, and then issue the report. Right, so previously unrecognized RMM also could be identified by performing analytical near the end of the audit. Okay, now coming to the million-dollar question, that how do I perform the analytical procedure? So now this is the question regarding the performing the analytical procedures. You say, ma'am, you said that if you do the analytical procedure, you will become the Tiger Shroff in the office and you will become the most in demand person in the office. So how do I perform the analytical procedures? So it says to perform analytical procedures, one, you can either do the comparisons, or second, you can check for the relationships. So these are the two ways by which you can perform the analytical procedures. One, either do the comparisons, or second, check for the relationships. Okay, comparison. What do I compare the current year financial information with? I know, what do I compare the current year and a current period financial information with? I can compare it with the prior period. So 2020, 30, I can compare with 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, last 5 years. So what I have done analytical procedure. Or what I can do, I can compare with the budgets, I can compare with the anticipated results, I can compare with the forecast, right? The anticipated results, I can compare with the forecast. So again, what is that? That is an analytical procedure. Or what I can do, I can compare with the similar industry information. I can compare with the similar industry information. That means I can compare TCS with Wipro. I can compare with the Infosys. I can compare with the Cognizant, the Accenture. It's a similar industry information. But can I compare TCS with Mahindra, Tata Motors? No, I cannot compare. Why? Because they are not in the same industry. And they are not. This is software company, this is manufacturing company. So can I compare it with the Mahindra Motors? No. Can I compare TCS with ICICI Bank? No. Why? Because this is software company, this is banking company. So you have to compare it with the similar industry information. So this is one way of performing the analytical procedure. You compare with the prior periods, or you compare with the budgets, or you compare with the similar industry information. Like similar industry information. Or it says you can check the relationship. What do I check the relationship of? It says the financial information with the non-financial information. Like I can calculate the payroll cost to the number of employees. So that is financial to non-financial information. I'm checking the relationship. Or I can develop a predictable pattern. Or I can develop the predictable pattern. That is, 2028, what was the gross profit ratio of the company? Say example 28%. 2029, what was the gross profit ratio of the company? Say 27%. 2030, how much do you expect the gross profit ratio of the company to be? In the range of 25 to 30. Example, and this is your expectation. What is the actual gross profit ratio? Say 26%, 29%. Okay, seems normal. But if the gross profit ratio of the company in 2030 is 73% or it is 7%, then what do we say? Identify inconsistency, investigate. And identify inconsistency, investigate. So that means you check for a predictable pattern. Example, you check for the gross margin percentages. Example, you check for the gross margin percentages. Or you can also do the simple comparisons to the complex analysis. You can do the simple comparisons, what we talk, to the complex analysis. So that means you can, over here they are talking about the ratio analysis. So point number 2 is nothing but the trend analysis. This is nothing but the trend analysis. And then last point is nothing but you could be doing the ratio analysis. Like for a company, rather than individually checking depreciation or so, say example, I can calculate the average rate of depreciation. Say I can calculate the average rate of depreciation. What could be the formula for calculating average rate of depreciation? Total depreciation expenditure for the year divided by total number of the non-current assets, the PPE, minus the freehold land, and minus the freehold land into 100. That will give me the average rate of depreciation for the year. Right? If I say average rate of interest, total interest divided by the total loans minus the interest free loans into 100, that will give me the average rate of interest. That will give me the average rate of interest. So what is it? I have performed the analytical procedure. Again, this average rate of depreciation of current year, I can compare it with the previous year. Again, identify inconsistency, investigate in detail. Okay, say example, I am doing the audit of a manufacturing company, and a manufacturing, say automobile company. Say example, I am doing the audit of a automobile company. Say I am doing the audit of the Tata Motors. Okay, now what are the different varieties of the cars of Tata Motors? Can you quickly tell me? What are the different varieties of the cars of Tata Motors? You have Tata Punch, then you have Tata Tigor, right? Then you have which other? Right, Tata Punch, Tata Tigor. Then which other cars? Tata Indica used to come once upon a time. Now that Indica is no longer there. Right, which other cars of the Tata Motors do you have? Tata brand. Which other cars are there? Right, in that punch also they will have the various variants over there, right, regarding the the different cars, right? Can you tell me some more cars of the Tata Motors? Right, so Tata Motors, if I look into the car variants or anything, Hyundai or Honda, any car, right, they have the Tata Nexon, Tata Tigor, Tata Punch, Tata Tiago, Tata Altroz, Tata Nexon, Harrier, and these, yes, Nexon. So one student has mentioned Nexon, then Harrier, example. And so these are the varieties, example of the cars of the Tata Motors. Now for each of these cars, I take the number of cars sold. From where I get the number of the cars sold for each variety? I get it from the GST records and the number of cars sold. Then for each of these cars, I get the average dealer price, ADP. And the average dealer price. From where do I get the average dealer price? I get it from the price list. I get it from the price list, right? So I get the number of the cars of each variety, the average dealer price. I multiply the two. I take the grand total. This has to be the more or less the turnover of Tata Motors for the year. This has to be on an overall basis. Like, say example, this comes to 100 crore and actual turnover of Tata Motors is like 100, just some number I'm saying, 107 or 93 crore. Still it is around. But like, your expectation over here is saying 100 crore and the actual turnover of Tata Motors is 700 crore. Then identify inconsistency, investigate. Right, so rather than doing the vouching verification, ticky, what I have done, I have developed an expectation. Okay, according to the GST records price list, what should be the total turnover of Tata Motors for the year? Or I can take the example of how many tires have been used by Tata Motors during the year, the tires that they purchased from MRF and all of those, Michelin tires. Right? Then each vehicle, how many tires are required, how many tires were sold during the year, which were individually sold or which were put on the cars over there. And then again from that I can get the number of cars which were produced, manufactured during the year, and the number of cars which were manufactured during the year. So what is this I'm doing? Simple comparisons to the complex analysis. So that is again one more way of doing the analytical procedure. How you can do the analytical procedure? One, by checking the relationship with the non-financial information, or by checking for a predictable pattern, or by doing the simple comparisons to the complex analysis, right? So how to perform analytical procedure? This is how you can perform analytical procedures. What are the two key words in your answer? Either by doing the comparisons or by checking the relationship. Compare with previous year, compare with budgets, compare with similar industry, or you check the relationship with non-financial information, trend analysis, or the ratio analysis, right? So this is how you perform analytical procedure. How you perform? By doing the comparisons or by checking the relationship. You compare with prior periods, budgets, forecasts, or similar industry information, or your relationship you check for a predictable pattern, or you check for the non-financial information, or the various methods from the simple comparisons to the complex analysis, right? So this is how you perform analytical procedures. Okay, right. Now when we come to substantive procedure stage of the audit, we have the 4 options over there. What is that? Test of details, then substantive analytical procedures, then agreeing the financial statements to the underlying records, and examining material journal entries, Okay, now these two are the separate only. Then as a part of your substantive procedures, agreeing to underlying records and examining material journal entry. Now the main competition is between these two. Okay, whether I should do detailed checking or whether as an auditor I should do the analytical checking, that is by hook or by crook. And now what is my objective? I want to obtain the relevant reliable audit evidence. Can I do both? Yes. Can I do any one only? Yes. You can do only detail, you can do only analytical. Most of the times we go for a combination of both. But now, first over here we have to study the factors to be considered while using the substantive analytical procedures. Okay, when you're planning to use substantive analytical procedures, what are the factors which are required to be considered by the auditor? And again, you know, whenever it is a question regarding the factors, institute loves to ask the question regarding the same. Right, so the factors to be considered while using the substantive analytical procedures. And what are the factors we have over there? SREM. Right, what are the factors to be considered while using substantive analytical procedures? SREM. What is S? Suitability. What is R? Reliability. What is E? Expectation. And then what is M? It is the materiality. It is the materiality. So you have to think कि क्या करूँ, डिटेल चेकिंग करूँ कि एनालिटिकल करूँ. अब एनालिटिकल चेक करना है, so what are the factors to be considered? You want to check it the analytical way, so what are the factors to be considered while using substantive analytical procedure? One, whether it is suitable. Whether it is suitable, it depends upon the RMM. You tell me कि if there is a risk of material misstatement, chances of material fraud and error, what will you prefer, detailed or analytical? If there is a chance of material fraud and error, what will you prefer, only detailed or only analytical? Or both? Both is a good option, but out of detailed analytical, what will you prefer if there is an RMM? If there is an RMM, you will prefer the detailed. Exactly. You will prefer to do the detailed checking rather than the analytical checking. You come to know that the controls are not effective. Again, then what will you prefer to do? You will prefer to do the detailed checking. It depends upon the assertion for which you are checking. Accordingly, you will decide whether to do detailed or analytical. Like if I have to check existence, I have to check it in detail. I cannot do analytical for existence. For valuation, I can do analytical. So first, whether it is suitable. Second, to do analytical, you need a lot of data. And now that data which is being used for performing the analytical procedure, whether the data is reliable. Like what I said, compare with the previous year. Compare with the budgets, compare with the industry information. Now what you say, the budgets of the company are not reliable. Industry data is not from a reliable source. Does it make any sense to do analytical procedure? No. So when you have to do analytical, you need the data. Now that data we first have to check whether it is reliable. How do you check whether the data is reliable? What is the source of the data? What is the nature of the information? What are the controls over the preparation of the data, and also the comparability of the data? Like I told you, TCS, can you compare with ICICI Bank? No. Like you cannot compare, but TCS, can you compare with Wipro? Yes, then there is the comparability of the data. So one exam, they again asked a question only on the reliability of the data. Right, reliability of the data. So what is reliability of the data? SNCC. Right, SNCC. Then third one, that is E. What is E? Expectation. Are you able to build an expectation to identify a misstatement? That means rent per month is, identify the misstatement. Say rent per month is 1 lakh. So for the year, what should be the rent expenditure? It should be 12 lakh. That means you are able to build an expectation. But you say traveling expense very random. So like that I cannot build an expectation. Then should you do analytical? No. Right, so are you able to build up an expectation? Okay. Now what expectation have you built? Okay, the rent expenditure for the year should be 12 lakh. Okay. The actual rent expenditure recorded in the books of account is say 15 lakh. How much is the actual rent expenditure recorded in the books of account? 15 lakh. So how much is the difference coming to? 3 lakh. Now this 3 lakh difference, whether auditor should consider or ignore, that depends upon the materiality. Whether this difference of the 3 lakh the auditor should consider or ignore, that depends upon the materiality. The difference between the expected value and the actual value, which can be accepted without further investigation. And the difference between expected and actual values, which can be accepted without further investigation. So if materiality is 5 lakh, you say ignore this. If materiality is 2 lakh, you say boss, this is material, we need to consider this, we need to investigate in detail. Right, so these are the factors to be considered in using the substantive analytical procedures. What are the factors? S, R, E, M, and for the R we also have the SNCC. Right, we also have the SNCC. Right, so factors to be considered in using substantive analytical procedures. What are the factors? S, R, E, M. Right, what is S? The suitability. R, reliability of the data. Reliability of the data, the source of the data, the nature and relevance of the information, the controls and the comparability. So that is SNCC. Then develop an expectation to identify a misstatement, and then the difference between the recorded value and the actual value, that is acceptable without further investigation, which is influenced by the amount of the materiality. Right, so that is SREM. Right, suitability, reliability, expectation and the materiality. Right, so SREM. Right, so that is our discussion regarding the 520. So in 520, what have we discussed? One, in 520 we discussed the meaning of analytical procedures. Then we said that analytical procedures are to be performed by the auditor throughout the audit. What is the objective of analytical procedure at each stage of the audit? Right, then after that we talked about the performing the analytical procedure, right, comparisons and relationship, right, the comparisons and the relationships, and then after that we said the factors to be considered while using the substantive analytical procedures. What are the factors to be considered? SREM. Right, the factors to be considered while using the substantive analytical procedures. Right, so that's again a small standard for the discussion over there, which is the 520. Right, so 500, audit evidence. 501, audit evidence specific consideration for selected items. 505, external confirmations. 510, initial audit engagements, opening balances. 520, analytical procedures. So now let us come to the next one, which is 530,